Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Hello? Hi. Would you like to say hello? I'm just gonna see how much I can read this weekend. I really don't have any plans other than, like, it's a long weekend. It's currently Friday, which I took the day off work today. So I have a bit of an extra long weekend. And I don't have any plans other than a few hot fitness classes. So I already did that class for today. It's about 3 o'clock right now. So I've gone and done my class, came home, showered, changed, all that good stuff. And now I'm sitting down to basically read for the rest of the day. I don't have any other plans. If you watched my last video, you would know this already, but I am currently on page 657 of The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I'm currently on part 3, and I think I want to make it at least to part 4, and then I'm going to pick up a different book. I have a couple audiobooks that came in on Libby, and I have the Kindle books to read along with. So I think I'm gonna get to part 4, which is page 723, so a little under 100 pages. So I think once I get to part 4 in The Way of Kings, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break and pick up one of the other books that I have. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to get through, at least once I get to part 4 and start the other book, I don't see why I wouldn't be able to finish a whole book this weekend, depending on which one I choose and how long it is. But yeah, that is my plan. I'm gonna pop on my headphones. I'm going to continue on reading The Way of Kings, and when I get to part 4 there, I will let you guys know what book I end up choosing next. Good morning. It is currently 7:35 in the morning, and I'm about to go to a fitness class. I'm so tired. It's times like this when I'm glad that I have to, like, book these fitness classes ahead of time, and I can't cancel last minute without being charged a bunch of money, because there ain't no way that I would be going if this relied solely on my own motivation. I have to leave in like 20-ish minutes, so I'm gonna feed my cat real quick and then try not to fall asleep. And then I'm gonna leave. And I realized that I never ended up picking up the camera last night when I chose my other book that I was gonna pick up. So I picked up The Martian and I read somewhere around like 50 pages or something like that, I think. And so far it is actually hilarious. Like, I've been laughing out loud reading it. I'll give you more details on that later, but just wanted to let you guys know that I did end up choosing and picking up another book last night. I'm gonna go finish feeding my cat and getting myself ready to go, and I'll talk to you guys after my fitness class, if I manage to stay alive. I'm so tired right now. I can do this. I can do hard things. Okay, bye. Hello. Okay, so I don't think I've updated since I got back from my fitness class earlier this morning, but it is like 20 after 1 in the afternoon now. I basically have just been sitting reading since I got back from my class earlier. I got home around like 10. No, I got home around like 9:30, had my shower, did all that sort of good stuff. And then by the time I actually sat down, it was about 10 o'clock. So been sitting reading for a few hours, and now it's lunchtime. So I figured it would be a good time to whip out the camera and give a bit of an update. So I'm still reading The Martian by Andy Weir. I discovered there's no way to see what percentage you're at in a book on Audible, which just seems a little bit silly, but whatever. But I grabbed my Kindle, which is where I'm actually reading the book, but my Kindle says 43%. I'm about halfway through, and I'm really, really liking it. I think the reason I honestly just absolutely love this sort of like science fiction, really. I have come to realize that I love science fiction books, which actually shouldn't really be all that surprising because I love science. I was never really all that good at it when I was in school, but like my go-to shows to just like put on in the background when I'm doing stuff is like Planet Earth, or what's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but it's shows about like the universe and documentaries about what has happened basically since like the Big Bang, and how our universe and our solar system has come to be, and like how things have evolved on Earth and all that sort of stuff. I like that stuff just really intrigues me, and like learning about the planets and stuff really intrigues me. So it's really not a surprise that I'm enjoying this book, but it's really good. Like it's funny, it's fast paced, it's super like sciencey and nerdy, which like I will say, I'm not, like I said, I'm not super smart. As much as I love learning about it, I don't necessarily understand all of it. A lot of the like mathematics, physics, chemistry sort of stuff in the book is just kind of going over my head, but I still love reading it. I love learning about it. So yeah, really liking it so far. It is technically listed as like a sci-fi thriller, which I guess like the fact that the guy is on Mars and it's a very like high stakes situation because every other day there's something that's risking killing him. So I guess it's a thriller in that aspect, but it's not like your typical like scary, spooky serial killer sort of thriller or anything. That's my update. I'm on track, honestly, for finishing this book by the end of the day. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. I think, see, Audible doesn't give me a percentage, but it does tell me that I have about 4 hours of listening time left. I'm ready. I'm ready to keep reading this book, but I'm gonna make myself some lunch first. I'm honestly just gonna, I felt like it was warm already. I'm hearing things. What is going on? Anyways, it's also really gross and gloomy. That's why it looks so dark in here right now. Anyways, I'm gonna make my lunch. I'm gonna make some soup, and I'm gonna keep listening to my book. Hello guys, good afternoon. So I did end up finishing The Martian last night by Andy Weir, and I absolutely loved it. I couldn't quite give it 5 stars. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars, just because as much as I absolutely loved it, I didn't quite get that just like 5-star feeling right off the bat. It is about 2:30 now, so I'm finally able to, not that I wasn't sitting down this whole time, but I'm finally able to open up. Yes. Anyways, I'm finally about to open up my book for the day. So obviously now that I finished The Martian, I'm going back to The Way of Kings. And I'm on part 4 now. So we're nearing the home stretch of this book, which is crazy. I think there's like 240 pages until you get to part 5, and then part 5 is only like maybe 40 or 50 pages. So not that much left. I don't know if I'm just gonna read the rest of the book today and tomorrow, or if I'm gonna get to part 5 and then pick up another book, because that seems silly because part 5 is only like 50 pages at most. I don't know. We'll see how I feel, I guess, when I get to part 5, and if I feel like I need a bit of a brain break again, then I'll pick up another book. But I'm hoping if I have about 240 pages, I should be able to get to part 5 by the end of the day today. That might be wishful thinking. It depends on how distracted I end up getting, but hi. Anyways, yeah, that is my plan for today. And it is only Sunday, so we still have tomorrow, which is the holiday Monday. So I have absolutely, ow! I have absolutely no plans for tomorrow. I don't even have a fitness class because they are closed for the holidays. So, yeah, we'll see what I get up to. Hello, friends. So it is, what time is it? It is just after noon on Monday, the holiday Monday now. I had a little bit of a sleep in this morning, and I've spent the last couple hours reading a little bit more of The Way of Kings, because I didn't end up getting to part 5 yesterday. So, and I'm still not at part 5, but I think I got to a point where there's basically 100 pages left of the book, and I actually just left off at a chapter that was like a little bit of betrayal happened, and like I think the last 100 pages here is gonna be like shit's gonna go down, essentially. So I figured that would be a good point to stop and pick up a different book. That may be silly, but like I wanna stop at this point and pick up a different book so that my brain kind of has time to process what's happened throughout The Way of Kings and everything. And then when I go back and read the last 100 pages, I'll kind of be like fresh, if that makes sense. Well, it won't really be fresh because I stopped reading it. You know what I mean? I just feel like I need the breaks in books like this because my brain needs to process all of the information that's going on. And if I just like slam through all of it, it's just information overload, and it'll start going in one ear and out the other, and I'll forget a lot of things that happened. So anyways, I'm gonna put down The Way of Kings and pick up Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I don't want to make any promises that I'll finish it by the end of the day. I would love to finish it by the end of the day, but we'll see. It all depends on if I end up getting kind of tired of reading or not. Those are my plans. That's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna go pick up Survive the Night now. I have it on my Kindle, and we'll see how much I can read of that today. All right, so I am officially at 40% into Survive the Night, and let me just say, the main character in this book is a freaking idiot. You know when you're watching like a classic horror movie and there's always that one person that's gonna go down into the dark basement, or they're gonna open the closet door, or they're gonna enter any room without the lights on, and you're just screaming at them through the TV screen to not be an idiot. That's what this girl is. So, you know, if you do decide to read this book, just go into it knowing that and accepting that that's going to be frustrating. Because other than that, like, so far it's entertaining and I want to know how it ends. But it is frustrating because there's so many points. Like, basically, if you don't know the premise of this book, it's about this girl who she's at college and her best friend ends up being murdered by the campus killer, serial killer. And there's posters all over campus saying, you know, don't walk alone at night, don't go off with strangers, all this sort of, you know, normal self-protective things when you're a female. And despite what just happened to her best friend and all of these warnings, she is so hell-bent on getting away from the college and going back to her hometown that she decides to do like a rideshare sort of thing with a stranger. So she gets in the car with a total stranger that she's never met or talked to or heard of before to get a ride back to her hometown. And that's only the start of the bad decisions that she makes. Like, we're at 40% and she's already realized that he's, you know, lied to her about certain things, and she's had the opportunity to call her boyfriend who's back at the college and tell him to come pick her up, but she doesn't do it. And this isn't like like, these aren't spoilers or anything, but it's just like, it's little things like that. And aside from that, she's also very obviously mentally ill. Like, she was actually on well, she should still be on medications to prevent her from seeing like hallucinations and stuff. And she stopped taking those medications and didn't tell anybody. It's stuff like that where I understand why this is not Riley Sager's most popular book. I understand why people DNF this book a lot. I understand why people have a lot of issues with this book and a lot of issues with the fact that a man is writing a woman character as dumb as this. But if, like I said, like, if you go into the book knowing and accepting that this character is the biggest idiot you've ever read about, I think you could still find enjoyment. So far, I'm enjoying it. We'll see how the rest of the book ends up going. I feel like the ending has to be good in order for it to redeem itself. If there's no good, like, twist, or if it's too far out of the realm of possibility, and I'm just, like, rolling my eyes or going, like, wow, that was anticlimactic, then it's probably not going to get a very good rating. But if the ending can redeem itself, then it might be all right. Because, like I said, it's fast-paced, it's entertaining, regardless of how... I think it's entertaining because of how dumb the main character is, and you're just like, oh my god, what's the next dumb thing she's gonna do? So anyways, I just wanted to hop on and give that little bit of an update. My Kindle says I have about 3 hours left. So I'm hoping that I can finish this by around dinner time. I'll probably even listen to because I have the audiobook as well. So I'll probably even listen to the audiobook while I cook dinner later, depending on what time it is. But I'm not getting, like, distracted by other things. So that's kind of nice. It's entertaining enough and it's fast enough pace that I'm like, okay, let's just keep reading and I want to know what's going to happen. Listen. I have read my fair share of Riley Sager books, okay? And I will say they're not necessarily always super duper strong plot-wise or character-wise. But this book was just a whole nother level. Like, let's just say it did not redeem itself. I finished it. I ended up giving it 2 stars. And honestly, even that's being generous. I feel like the only reason I gave it 2 stars was because it still had an element of like, I want to get to the end and I want to see what's going to happen. And the more that I think about it, the more issues I find with the characters and with the plot line. And then you get to like literally the very, very, very end. And I don't want to give any spoilers, so this is going to be super vague. And if you've read the book, you know what I mean. And if you haven't read the book, I'm not going to recommend to read the book. But if you really want to know what I'm talking about, then go ahead and read the book, I guess. But once you get to the very, very end, I don't even know how to explain this. There's plot twists, a couple of which I saw coming. I'm not going to lie. One of them I didn't, and then the very last, I guess you would call it a plot twist. I don't know. But once you get to the very, very, very end of the book, like the last like 5 pages, and you read the last 5 pages and you're like, wait a second. What? It felt like cheating. It felt like cheating to get to the end of the book and to use that as a reason as to why all these things happened. Like, I don't know. Like I said, a generous 2 stars, because Riley Sager definitely knows how to write a book that makes you want to sit down and binge the whole thing. But I am so glad that it didn't take me more than a day to read this book, because if I put more than a day worth of reading into this, I would have been upset. Like, I'm not surprised that people have issues with this book. And I'm not surprised, like, if this was your first Riley Sager book, I can see why that would deter you from reading his other books. And don't let it do that, because I have genuinely liked all of the other books that I've read by him. They're not, like, literary masterpieces by any means, but they're much better than whatever I just read. I am getting into bed now, and I'm going to continue reading the last like 100 pages of The Way of Kings. I don't know if I'm gonna actually finish it tonight or not. We shall see. I'll basically just read until I get tired and fall asleep. But yeah, that is the end of this video, I guess. We read one really good book, which was The Martian by Andy Weir. We read one other book, which was Survive the Night by Riley Sager, and we just about finished The Way of Kings. I mean, who's to say that I won't finish it by the end of the night? I'd say this was a great, successful weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.